All right, we're going to go on to Linda. Hey, Linda.
Hello, everybody. Well, my share is also I will be leaving the group as of this will be my last group call. I have until February the 3rd, but this will be my last. I wrote a few notes because I don't want to I get kind of windy and go overboard. So I'll kind of read from my notes here a little bit. Christine did say a lot of things that I feel also, and I think a lot of people that get to that point start feeling and understanding how Christina described things. But um, I mean, I'm at the point now. I've been in it 11 months, and that's when I found Dan. And I at the point where I feel his teachings and all the support and everything has got me to the point that I'm aware of what's causing all of this. I truly, in my heart, believe it. I know Dan has said that so many times over the period, but um, once you get that mindset and things start changing, but I remember, just like Christiana said, when I first joined, well, with my story is when I found him on the YouTube, I sent him an email or a text and I told him my situation, which is food sensitivity and smells. And I hadn't heard anybody really talk about that. So I texted him and I said, did he think that his method of teaching would work for me? And now, mind you, my journey started in the year of 2014. So I did not really hear about TMS until beginning of 2023. So for all of those almost 9 years, I went from doctor to doctor. I kind of counted up how many doctors, and I count 15 different doctors in 15 different fields, trying to find the answer because I just knew there had to be a reason. I didn't want to be just have my symptoms treated. And I just kept journeying. Now, I got a lot of doctors who gave up on me, and I just went on to someone else. But after 8 years of doing that, it was getting kind of hopeless. So I went through many stages of different things, and I'm not going to go through all those because I could go on forever about all the things that I went through and all the symptoms that I had. But the main one was the food. And I had gotten down to where I was only eating anywhere from 6 to 8 foods, and they were all very bland, really not much taste to them, and I only drank water. And I was really, through all these doctors, that's what they started telling me to do. When they couldn't help me with meds, which I really kind of refused so many meds, I just decided I tried once or twice and I did not like the way I felt. So I just never really got on the meds. So I put up with the pain. And the only time I could really get relief was to be lying flat. And I could sleep. But the moment I got up, it was right back. And the frustration that I was feeling from and the hopelessness from not getting any help from all these different doctors, this medical field, I was just in disbelief that there was no help out there other than medication. But anyway, so pretty much I spent a lot of time in bed, a lot of time on the couch. Of course, being an active person that I was for years, it changed my life because I no longer could go out and do things without being in severe pain. And my friends would see this. So that soon became harder and harder. So then I started doing less and less and less. But anyway, when Dan said that there's his program, he felt like I could become pain free. Now, after 8 or 9 years of never really getting that hope from any doctor, I don't know if you can imagine. Of course, we weren't on a Zoom call or anything, but the tears just started flowing. And I couldn't hardly stand the thought that I've been waiting all this time, and this one person is saying that there was hope for me to be pain free. So, in the midst of that, within a month, I talked to my husband, and he said, "Well, you definitely need to at least try." So, I started getting on the group calls. And at first, it was hard for me to talk. And I know a lot of you probably are uneasy about talking about your wins, whether you're going to say the right thing or ask the right questions. And I felt that very same thing. But I did get in there and do a few of my wins, but I think I learned so much more from the people and what they had gone through. And then Dan teaching us that no matter what kind of symptoms you have, they're all going to be different, but you're going to treat them the same way. And then the mindset. He kept going over and over about how important mindset is. And when I got that, that was the beginning of my turnaround. Yeah. And it was like, and sometimes, been hearing him say this probably for a good month, and it just didn't register. I just didn't understand what he was trying to say. And then all of a sudden, it just like an aha moment. And I go, oh my gosh. So once I got that, then he started talking about the 4 steps to getting through all of this. And then, the awareness,
Mhm.
accepting, realizing what's causing it, and then making that decision that you can do what it takes. And that's where I kept working. Then there were times a lot of ups and downs, but I just kept sticking with it. I kept saying, okay, this is temporary. This is temporary. When I would have a big flare up, at first I would start thinking, oh, I'm never going to get through this. I'm starting all over, right back to where I was. But that's not the
Oh,
case. That's not the case. You stay calm. You tell yourself, get back into the mindset of what Dan was teaching me. And a lot of times those flares that would reoccur may last a couple days, maybe 5 days. But as I calmed down and started changing my way of thinking and what I was telling myself, that was so important. He corrected me several times when I was on here on words that I was using. And I didn't realize until he pointed it out that, okay, like I would say, like, I hope that I can do this. And he's, no, 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 you will do this, or I will do this. I will be able to do this. So the brain hears what you're talking and what you're saying to yourself. So please keep that in mind as he keeps telling you this over and over. And I know that a lot of his videos, sometimes I feel like, well, I've heard this over and over and over. But it's amazing how sometimes one little thing that he says adds to the growing, the continuing, and the feeling of success. And now I'm not pain free. I still have symptoms, but oh, the level of those symptoms where they were 8, 9, 10 before, now I'm more at a 3, maybe a 2 sometimes. But I'm living life again. I am eating any food that I want to eat. I mean, any. Now, I don't eat things that I never ate before that I didn't like, but
well,
I mean, when I got on that the food thing, the doctors, it all sounded legitimate. If your mouth was bothering you, you know, something's got to be causing it. So they started naming foods. that I shouldn't be eating, that I should avoid. And I even went to Mayo Clinic's webpage and looked up my diagnosis that I was given. And they had one at Mayo Clinic, and they listed, and that was one of the things, avoid all these foods. Well, who's not going to believe Mayo Clinic, you know?
Right.
So, anyway, until Dan told me the day that I asked him, how do I go about eating again? And he said, well, you have two options. You can go at it gradually, one by one, on things you like, or you can just jump in. And so the next time I went out to dinner with friends, I did. I didn't ask any questions about what was in these foods. I didn't have to have the chef come out and say, you know, what can I get? What can I make for you? I mean, I was a type of person that used to annoy me about people that always questioned things on the menus or always wanted to change things around. I had become that person, and it was just, and I can remember when this all first started, and I continued trying going out with my friends, and they were all trying to help me find something on the menu. I remember going to the bathroom and just crying and crying because this is no way to live, and it was very frustrating. But what I realize now, the frustrations that I was dealing with, what was making me so frustrated was only causing the brain to activate the pain more. So now, staying calm, if something lifey comes, just know that I just try to stay as calm as I can and know that this is not going to last. And then one other thing that I think that it was important for me was I have found out a lot about myself, and
Mhm.
I did try journaling before Dan, and that did not do anything for me except for make me depressed. So I got out of that. But anyway, but I did find out about my anxiety that I had had probably all my for a long time, and then also how I am a person that has personalities of a people pleaser. I worry. I worry about the present. I worry about the past. I worry about that happened. I worry about future things that hadn't even come about, but I would worry about them. So I'm starting to change that. I'm starting to change my thinking and living in the now and not letting people that made me feel bad about myself. I That's boundary for me. You know, that's a big turn off. So um, these are all things that have helped me. But I must say, 11 months is a short period over the 9 years that I had. So I'm sure that everybody recovers in a different amount of time, and we're all different. Our symptoms are all different, but you still treat them the same. You get the mindset, you get the belief, the core belief that you can do this. And with Dan's help and listening to other people and the encouragement that you get from this group. So, all of you new people, you are in the right group. You do not need to be in another group. Just stay with it and learn, and you will keep learning. And when you start seeing the little wins, things keep getting better and the wins keep getting bigger. And you start feeling your old self again, which is really feels good. It feels great. So I wish the best for all of you. And I know, Dan, you hear it all the time because you've had so many people that you've helped, but from the bottom of my heart, you will always be in my mind. And I'm sure that I will come back and watch some of your videos once in a while, but hopefully I don't have to come back for the reason I started. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to the rest of the people, and some of them are not here. There's a lot of people that when I first started there, they have gone on and improved also.
Right.
But there's so much encouragement in this group, and that's a big part of your recovery. So,
Awesome. Linda, thank you so much. Thrilled for your progress, thrilled for your success. And you explained beautifully your journey. And you mentioned at one point something about starting all over again. Did you folks see what I posted in the chat? That image basically says a wise man once said, "Don't be afraid to start over again. This time you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience."
and that's true.
That flare up is perfect regarding I was doing well and symptoms came back. Oh no. No, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. And the quicker we can jump back to what was I doing when the symptoms started feeling better, the quicker it'll
Exactly.
go back to that. So I just wanted to point that out for anybody. But
Yeah.
Linda, you can think about this, but if you're okay with it, that was a wonderful share. And if you're okay with it, I'd love to grab a snippet of that and then put that out on the publicly to say here's a little bit about what the group coaching can do for you. I did that with Annie Chin a couple weeks ago. So if you're up to that, if you'd rather not, we'll just
No,
keep it here among the group.
that's okay. Um,
All
if
right,
it would help anyone, if it helped one person, it would be worth it. So,
beautiful.
um, I mean,
Great.
giving encouragement is key too. I mean, it's easy when you're having symptoms and you're not feeling great to get down on yourself, and you have to be
Awesome.
strong. And I'm sure that a lot of people that are dealing with this, I know for me, I've always considered myself a fairly determined, positive minded, and strong willed person. And I knew that I could always do it. But when you're frustrated, it's amazing what that frustration tells your brain.
Mhm.
And your brain just activates that nervous system. And
Great.
so, yeah, that would be fine.
Beautiful. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you allowing me to do that. And again, thrilled for you. You've
Yeah.
been really good support to a lot of people here. Be sure to go through the comments because as you were speaking, boy, the support comments for you were just rolling in there. So scroll back
Thank,
through there.
thank you, everybody.
Um,
I'm
thank you.
going to miss everybody. I mean, I was telling, I did email or texted Annie because we've become friends. And I told her, I said what I was going to do. And I said, it's like this group has been my security blanket. And like a kid that has a security blanket, it's kind of hard to let go.
Sure.
So, but I feel good about it.
Love that.
And I feel good about this group. So I will continue to get the word out.
That's great.